All right, we're going to start off with a prayer, get into the worship, and then get right into the word. Father, y'all, we just thank you right now for just waking us up this morning, closing the right mind. Father, y'all, we thank right now this is a day that you have made, and we should continue to rejoice and be glad in it. Father, y'all, we just want to just magnify your name right now for this day that you have made. Father, y'all, we come against all hindering ruachs. We come against all ruachs of sickness, Father, y'all. Father, y'all, we come against all forms of diseases created by man and natural, y'all. Father, y'all, we just come against depression. Y'all, we come against anxiety, Father, y'all. Father, y'all, we come against panic, Father, y'all. Father, y'all, it's that rock that calls us the word, Father, y'all, and be in doubt. I would just want to just check you, Father, y'all, for the day, Father, y'all. Father, y'all, magnify your name right now and let you know that there's none like unto you, Father, y'all. Father, y'all, barak your name throughout this day, Father, y'all. Let you know, Father, y'all, that besides you, there is no other, Father, y'all. Father, y'all, I come to you, Father, y'all, I don't come to you lightly. So many people take it for granted, Father, y'all. It wasn't promised that we wake up this morning, Father, y'all. But you woke us up on, Father, y'all, starting us on our, y'all. A lot of people didn't make it this morning, Father, y'all. A lot of people didn't make it this week, Father, y'all. A lot of people didn't make it to this year that we're in, Father, y'all. I thank you, Father, y'all, for giving us another whole year to get it right, Father, y'all. Yes, Father, y'all, granted that you part that sky, you Shig, and when you do, we want to be ready. We thank you right now for just being with us at all times. We thank you right now for allowing us to be ready in season and be ready out of season. Yes, we just magnify your name because you're worthy and there's none like unto you. So just taking out my personal time just to give up the baraka to you, Father. Hallelujah. Just letting you know right now that I do appreciate you. I do thank you, Father, y'all, everything you're doing in my life. I thank you, Father, y'all, for everything that you're going to continue to do, Father, y'all. But, Father, y'all, we thank you most of all for the sheep that are out there, Father, y'all. We thank you, Father, y'all, for those that are out there, Father, y'all, that don't know any better, Father, y'all, those that are out there sleeping, those that are out there wandering aimlessly, Father, y'all. We thank that you give them a purpose, Father, y'all. We thank that you let them know the meaning to their life. Father, y'all, we just magnify your name because there's none like unto you. In the name of Son, Yahushua Mashiach, we have prayed, so be it. All right, everybody, we're going to jump right into it. We're going to be dealing with the ways of the heathen. And I think the topic of this will be learn not the way of the heathen or the ways of the heathen. And so basically what we got to look at is we got to be confident in who we are as a people, who we are as the people of Yah, and not look for these identities through the heathen. You know, a lot of ways we do that. And when I say heathen, you know, a lot has changed, but I'm going to deal with it from the scripture aspect. And it's talking about anybody that's not Israel, anybody that's not worshiping and a follower of Yah. In this day and time, we know that if you've been converted and you were a Gentile or you were one of us that's, you know, not trying to live like the heathen, that's now living like the people of Yah, that you're not considered a heathen. But in this day, back in the days, when they say heathen, it's like all the other nations did not know Yah. And if they knew him, they knew of him, but they wasn't trying to, you know, follow after the ways of Yah. So at that point, the heathen was everybody that was not Israel. And that's what this is referring to. So we're going to stick with the script. So, and this was going on. Most of the time, the ways of the heathen can influence us. And the Most High knew that. That's why he set up a lot of boundaries. That's why he said, do this, don't do that. And you can do this, you can do that. He had to literally talk to us like the children of Israel, like children. Because if not, they would go out and start doing just about everything. And we're going to get into the text at some point. But we want to talk about some of the ways of the heathen briefly, and we'll talk about a few more once the text is over. Some of the ways of the heathen when it comes to basically the men and the women now, because most of the men now are dressing like women. You know, they're wearing tight pants and stuff. So it's like, you know, it's like revealing your body. You have certain men, you know, they're operating certain seductive ruachs. They're trying to show their muscles with tight shirts on. And you have women, you know, showing more than what they should show with short skirts on and, you know, the tops that, you know, reveal most of what they shouldn't be showing. And all of this stuff here, this is just one way because the heathen set that pattern. That's the dress code. That's what they do. And this is what a lot of us try to follow, following trends, trying to follow things that we think are in for the moment, trying to follow the ways of the world. And like, we don't even have to read the scripture. First John, you know, it talks about, you know, love not the world, neither the things therein. It say those that love the word, the love of Yah are not in them. And so you can't be trying to follow the world and follow Yah at the same time. And so we're going to look at we're going to look at Jeremiah chapter 10, about 1 through 8. So we're going to look at Jeremiah chapter 10 just to get the basis of what we're talking about, and then we'll kind of, work some more scriptures in. But Jeremiah chapter 10, starting off at the first verse, we're kind of talking about here. A lot of people will say, well, hey, they're not talking about a Christmas tree or blasé. But when you look at everything that's going on, for the most part, it's like, what does it have to do with Yah? Because at the end of the day, it's a false idol that they're talking about. It's a false God they're talking about. So we're going to look at this, Jeremiah chapter 10, starting off at the first verse.
Jeremiah 10, verse 1 reads, Hear ye the word which Yahuwah speaks unto you, O house of Yashrael. Thus says Yahuwah, learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the heathen are dismayed at them. Okay.
So when they say learn not the way of the heathen, you got to have a deeper understanding than just reading that verse. You got to realize that the heathen had all kinds of ways. Ways just used loosely, but they had their way of being. They had their way of going. When the Most High started laying down these laws in Leviticus, prior to this, he knew what time it was. That's why he said, do not seek anyone that's a necromancer, anyone that's, that's involved in witchcraft or sorcery. He said, if you want a word, I'll bring a prophet among you. And since that's another way of the heathen. And we want to give you an example in our day and time where people sugarcoat it. They say, well, I just wanted to go get my palms read. I want to hear my horoscope. That's a way of the heathen. That's what I'm saying. This is what he say, learn not. He don't want you going there, getting familiar with see, we didn't learn a lot of this stuff by default, but he don't want you getting familiar with fables, getting familiar with mystical terms and mystical ways of how things come about. Because the Ruach HaKodesh doesn't move in mystics. It doesn't move in any type of chakras or anything like that people try to, force on you. The meditation of the heathen is different from the meditation of Yah. Heathens meditate on stuff. They meditate for results. We're supposed to meditate on the word and meditate to follow the ways of Yah and to do Yah's will. We're not supposed to meditate to get something. The scripture says, seek ye first the kingdom of Yah and his righteousness, and all these things should be added to you, not meditate for stuff. And that's what meditation now is about. You don't have to meditate for peace. All you got to do is follow Yah, and all you got to do is submit yourself unto Yahushua Mashiach, and he is the Prince of Peace. He'll give you peace. But if you're doing things, it's like the world teaches you to do things the wrong way. We don't have to be afraid when we see signs in the sky. When they want to seek a sign, Yahushua Mashiach said, a wicked generation seek a sign. We don't need no sign. That's it. The signs are the signs of the times. What's happening now? Like you have the father against son. We see it now all the time. A father killing the son. You see it. You have the mother against the daughter. You see all this stuff going on now already. These are the signs. You don't have to be amazed with signs in the sky. Oh, good. Yeah, trying to follow all these different stars and trying to do anything that does not have anything to do with Yah. The problem with the situation with Israel and with the people of the world in general is that just because things work sometimes, they feel like that is, a blessing. I want to say they use that term, and we say baraka, but a blessing is interchangeable. And they say, okay, since it's working, then we're going to do it. Working doesn't mean that this is the way of Yah just because a system is working. It doesn't mean that that's what Yah wants you to do just because you went to this particular soothsayer and they told you something that was true or something that you knew was true. That he didn't say they weren't going to say nothing true. He said, don't defile yourself with them. Because once you defile yourself with them, you begin to be dependent upon them for the information. And Most High wants you to be dependent upon him. This is the thing. A lot of people are going to be punished and go to hell just for disobedience. And it's like they're going to be thinking everything is fine because everything that this person told them was true if they went to a soothsayer or something. But just because they told you something that was true doesn't mean that this is what Yah wanted you to do. That's the thing. The word says there's a way that seems right unto man, and the end of it is death. You know what I'm saying? It'll seem like it's the right thing. It'll seem like you're doing what you're supposed to do, but you're not doing what you're supposed to do. You think, okay, just because I didn't get hurt, nothing is wrong. I didn't get sick. I didn't die. I didn't get punished. Everything must be okay. No, it's a strong delusion. It's not real. What you're doing is going down the road that the Most High don't want you to go down. That's why back in Jeremiah, a couple of pages back, they told him to ask for the old path. Then you'll find good success. If you ask for the old path, they say we will not, and said follow that in it. And they said we will not follow that in it. That's what the people said with one accord. This is the thing. Everybody think that what we're doing now is too old. They think this is the old-fashioned way. This the word says nothing new under the sun. The thing they're doing is not new. It's just repackaged. That's all it is. So it's like, it's not nothing old. It's just the fact that in order to get in, you have to follow the ways of Yah. The pattern of marriage, the pattern of how a household is supposed to be ran, all this stuff now is old-fashioned and outdated to people, but they don't realize they're dealing with the Ancient of Days. And the Most High is going to be a day of reckoning. It's going to require that you did not do, and that you did, you're going to have to answer for it just because you were just deliberately disobedient, wanting to follow the ways of something that looked more popular now. Right. You know, like we have women power and stuff. You know, I'm not against women, but I'm saying women are not supposed to rule men according to the scripture. But in this new day and time, you know, we have the households flip, we have the roles flip, we have everything going the opposite way. And just because the world is doing it and it seems to be popular because they're pushing a lot of stuff, it makes it seem like, okay, now this must be okay, but it's not okay. That's why households, there's issues and stuff going on. The roles need to be reversed. The things need to at least attempt to fall into some type of order. But the Most High, he doesn't like things out of order. And when Hasatan sees something out of order, he attacks immediately. He goes in and starts attacking when he sees something that's out of order. That's the thing. So once you follow the order of Yah, that's the thing. It's like we're in so big of a mess now until it's like we have people not even wanting to even listen to anybody, not less follow order. You have people, the attitude is nobody can't tell me what to do. Well, the thing is, when you hear somebody tell you what to do that's in the word, they're not telling you what to do. They're just telling you what the word say. And that's the difference. Is you don't want to hear the word. That's what it is. It's not that nobody can't tell you what to do. You refuse to hear what Yah is saying do. And since you can't get mad at Yah, you get mad at the person that's telling you what the word said. There's an order of Yah. Where it makes you mad or sad, and he respects order. It doesn't matter what's going on. And it's the thing, if you're in a system and the system doesn't have an order, and if for some bad reason, if it's a marriage or whatever it may be, if you ain't being beat where you need to leave and you're staying there on your own will, you have to follow the order. That's why I look at it. There's reasons that they give you a way out to separate or do things in a different manner. But when it all boils down, you can't use an excuse not to follow the order, because first of all, when you say I do, there's you and that person. There's no other parties that are there that has agreed to this. You agreed to a contract. And once you agree, that's how it works in the dark world. Once you make that contract with the enemy, you're bound to that contract until there's a way you can figure to get out of it through Yah. So when you make a contract under the eyes of Yah, you're bound to that contract, and the order of that contract, you enter in something, and most of the time you don't know what you're entering into. That's the thing. And since you entered into it ignorant, you figure you can just do it your way. No, you're gonna get punished. You can't do it your way. You have to follow the protocol. There are ways there and reasons to tell people that for a season they separated and they come back together. There are certain things that you can look at in the scripture that tells you about how you conduct yourself in marriage and in other ways. Any other contract goes the same way when you enter an agreement. Once you enter an agreement, then you're bound by the words of this agreement unless there's some clause that tell you that there's a way that you can get out of it. That's the thing. And if you don't use those ways, then you can't just get in there loosely and operate how you want to just because things are not going the way you want it to go. That's not how this is the greatest way to be punished. You know what I'm saying? That's not how the Most High operates. You know what I'm saying? You don't get a pass to throw a tantrum or do things a certain way because he or she vice versa isn't doing what you think they're supposed to be doing. That's not how the Most High operates. The Most High operates in order and submission. He doesn't operate in anything outside of that. And that's the thing. He operates in patience. Sometimes you have to be patient sometimes with the other party. Sometimes you have to look at, okay, what is it that I can do? Or what is that? Can I pray more? There's a lot of things you have to look at, but the thing you don't need to look at is getting out of order just because things aren't going the way you think they're supposed to be going when you enter the agreement. That's the thing. And that's it's hard, but it's right. That's the thing. That's why now we have this generation that's coming up that we have to raise them and be involved in what they get involved in so they can, have a smoother way to go. That's the thing. So this we have to look at, but this is just one way of the heathen. One way of the heathen, just my example, a marriage operating out of order, just to make it plain. One other way of the heathen, of people entering agreements and business agreement with people and then wanting to just do whatever when the contract stated this is the role they're supposed to play. Now they're trying to take the hierarchy role when they weren't supposed to be taking that role. They agreed that this person was going to be the one that dealt with the finance because they seen a few things get out of order. Now they're saying, okay, look, now I'm going to take over. That's not what you were supposed to do. You should have looked at this individual a little more before you entered the agreement. And this is the thing, being out of order is one way of the heathen. Operating lawlessly is one way of the heathen. And that's what the heathen do. They don't want to have no type of structure, no type of order or anything. They don't respect order. The Heathen sees that out of order situation going on and he just go in attack mode. And we're wondering why we've been attacked. Well, are you in order? And if you're not in order, why? Your reason is not going to be bigger than the reason the Most High told you to stay in it. I'm sorry. It's just not. And you won't get any peace till you get in order or do what you need to do to whatever. That's just it. You can't operate lawlessly and be respected by the Most High or be respected by Heathen. That's the thing. And it's not that you're looking for his respect, but he will attack you if the hedge is up off you, if the grace of Yah is moved up off you because you're running, aimlessly, just doing what you want to do. Anyway, so like I say, basically learn not the way of the heathen. That's another way of the heathen. That way gets pushed out. It's like a lot of people don't look at that because it's like, that's one of the biggest tricks. It's a trick of how to turn. You don't want to be in a position where you can be attacked. You don't want to have your guards down. Don't get caught up into the things that the heathen are being caught up into. Don't think that the world has you in their best interest when it comes to medication, when it comes to any type of way that you need to be healthy. They're not studying you. They create the problem and then they give you the answer. That's what they do. They get you sick and then they give you the answer for it. You know what I'm saying? You catch cancer through the food, then they treat it. They don't give you the cure, they treat it. And then you get medicine forever. Say the food gets you obese, the food gets you, turn you into a diabetic, and then you have to take this medicine forever. You take this shot forever. They're not trying to cure you. They're trying to put you and just string you along so that you can be a part of the system. You're a part of that system. They create the system. And then you're another part of the matrix. That's all it is. And to get out of it, you have to reject what they're giving you. So if we see the food as a problem, then the knowledge is all in the food. That's the problem within itself. Everything they're doing is to destroy you so that you can actually just be just enough where you can be on life support, where you can just keep going enough where they can just keep treating you until now they go to the next one. It's a system that they created. That's why Big Pharma, the way that they operate is wicked. They don't care about anything when it comes to be a cure. It's all about a treatment. That's where the money is at. It's not in the cure. And so let's go to the next one. I think verse 3.
So Jeremiah chapter 10, I read in verse 3. For the customs of the people are vain. For one cuts a tree out of the forest, the work of the hands of the workmen with the axe. They deck it with silver and with gold, and fasten it with nails and with hammers, that it move not.
Okay, so you go ahead.
They are upright as the palm tree, but speak not. They must needs be born, because they cannot go. Be not afraid of them, for they cannot do evil, neither also is it in them to do good.
Okay, so it's the thing. So what are you supposed to be afraid of them for? So it look like a false god. When you look at the first commandment, when it talks about there should be no other Elohim before me. That's what we started off telling. There should be no other Elohim before me. So why is this? And then you'll hear certain ones that say, well, it's just a day that we set aside as Christians to say Christianity. It's just a day we set aside for Jesus' birthday. It's a day, we ain't worshiping the tree, anything like that. Well, that's equivalent to having Confucius or a statue of Buddha in here. And I'm saying, well, I don't worship Buddha. You know what I'm saying? I just like the way he looked with my furniture. You know what I'm saying? Like that. Like, why is Buddha in my house? You know what I'm saying? If I don't worship Buddha, why is he in here? If I don't worship Confucius, why is he in my house? Right. That's the thing. And that's just another excuse to say, okay, well, we ain't really, we ain't going to decorate it and not like that. Like you said, it's just a tree, it's plastic. It's not wood. We didn't hew it down. We just put it in there. It's the ways of the heathen. Where is it that the Most High gave an example for that? This falls into the art of idol worship. You know what I'm saying? That's what it falls into the art of. And then you'll have one saying, we know nobody knows when we were born. We just do this just so we can get together for the family. Well, why this date? Why did you let the heathen give you a date and then search the date and do the research of that date, December 25th, and find out what is it about? You know what I'm saying? Find out what is the tree about in general. Like, why are they doing that? Why are they decorating? You know what I'm saying? It's the thing. What are you sitting there decorating the tree for if it's supposed to be about gifts? And when the gifts were being passed about, when you look at the time, even though it wasn't cold during the time Yeshua Mashiach being born, the gifts were being passed about based on the happiness of him being born, not trying to make everybody else happy. You have people getting mad because they didn't get what they were supposed to get. It's a big market. That's all it is. And then so if it's supposed, that's what I always looked at. Everybody's looking at what you're going to get me, not what they're going to send somebody. Back then it was based on sending someone something. Now it's based on what I'm going to get and the market system for it. It's a great market for it. But anyway, we just have to not follow these ways. So there's no excuse to do it. We know, because you're doing it following the way of the heathen. That's the thing. Like, where did you get the information from? Who told you to do that? Like, where did this knowledge come from? Learn not the way of the heathen. The knowledge comes from the heathen. And what we try to do is repackage it and dress it up. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not Halloween, it's Hallelujah night. That's the thing, like that, it's all the same. You know what I'm saying? The day of the dead, day of evil. So why are we trying to fit in with the world? Well, the children got to have some alternative. You should be giving them an alternative all year long. Why are you giving them an alternative on one day? Why am I waiting one day to go get a present for somebody? Why am I waiting one day to buy some candy for my children? You know what I'm saying? This is it. It's all idol worship. Paganism is one way of the heathen. And we shouldn't be following any type of way of the heathen concerning paganism. You can go, you can do two more verses.
So Jeremiah 10, now we're on verse 6. For as much as there is none like unto you, O Yahuwah, you are great, and your name is great in might. Who would not fear you, O King of nations? For to you does it appertain. For as much as among all the wise men of the nations and all their kingdoms, there is none like unto you. Okay, so we're seeing he is the wisest. So what we're going to do now is look at what happens to any type of wisdom or anything concerning the heathen. We're going to turn to Psalm 33 and look at that 10th verse of the book of Psalms, and turn in that because it's kind of significant with what's going on. Psalm 33 and 10. It's talking about the counsel of the heathen and how Yahuwah deal with the counsel of the heathen in Psalm 33 and 10. Psalms, Tehillim, chapter 33, verse 10 reads, Yahuwah brings the counsel of the heathen to naught. He makes the devices of the people of no effect. Okay, so he brings their counsel to naught. And now if he bringing their counsel to naught, why are you trying to follow their counsel? We're going to turn back to Psalm 1. Everybody familiar with Psalm 1, verse 1 and 2, but just for the sake of, might or may not. So let's turn back a few pages back to Psalm 1 and look at verses 1 and 2. I know a lot of us are very familiar with it. Very. All right. Tehillim, Psalms 1, verse 1 and 2 reads, Blessed is the man that walks not in the counsel of the wicked, nor stands in the way of sinners, nor sits in the seat of the scornful. But his delight is in the Torah of Yahuwah. In his Torah, he meditates day and night. See that saying his Torah, he meditates day and night, not on something they want you to meditate on to get. You know what I'm saying? And then it says, you're not going to be in the counsel of the wicked or sit in the seat of the scornful. We see just the opposite going on. A lot of us, not us, but a lot of ones that you see out here that are claiming to be us are fighting to get into the presence of the counsel of the wicked. They're trying to do something, and it's like they can't try to mimic Daniel, because Daniel interpreted dreams. What Daniel was doing, Daniel didn't bow. When the music started playing and everything happened, Daniel did not bow. That's the thing. That's the difference from Daniel and them. A lot of them were going to fold, but Daniel did not fold. Daniel gained his respect, and he was all about Yah. And that king knew that if it wasn't anything about Yah, Daniel wasn't going for it. He took a great stance to a point where he got through in the lion's den. That's the thing, literally. So it's like, so we can't look at that and say, okay, yeah, Daniel, so we don't want to hear about that because there ain't too many people I've seen around here that can compare themselves to Daniel or Job. And that's all I hear most of the time like that. Like saying most of the people that would be in those situations like that. That's why when we look at conform to this world, you get in a position where you start loving the world and you start loving the counsel of the world and what they're telling you to do. You think that that's golden. This is what I'm going to do in order to make it. They don't have you in their best interest. You're just prey unto them. That's it. You're nothing but prey unto them like that. I mean, that's why you can't be thinking like, in the mindset of a sheep when it comes to the world. I mean, there's a place and a role we play, certain ones that operate and being meek like sheep. We're not supposed to be dumb and unintelligent to the ways of what they're doing. We need to be intelligent enough to know that they're not trying to help us. All they're trying to do is dominate and control us. They want you
under the subjection of what they're trying to do. They want you submissive to what they're trying to do to push their agenda. And the more you think that the world has it, and this is what we have going on in most of the Black Christian churches, they're following the ways of the world. They're promoting, take this shot. They're saying that the shot, one minister said that the shot is the way to go. That's it. And I'm like, how ignorant is that? It's 12, 1 and 2 when it talks about that, and not conform to this world. Okay, so basically, you know, when you look at most of the Black Christian churches, they're promoting do this. They're probably getting some stifling or some type of kickback or something, because you're on the 501c3. First of all, you have to let, the men and women go in the same bathroom when it boils down to it, because your church is being ran by the state, basically, you know what I'm saying, which is basically the government. They're all saying when it all boils down, they're going to do what they want to do because you signed up to let them. When you actually sign this paperwork, you're saying that all is welcome. That's why anybody can just walk in and come as you are. It's for real. They try to mix it up with the Bible, but literally anybody can come in. When the doors are open, those doors are open to the public. Those doors are not just open to your church members. You can try to be cocky, do all you want to do and say, okay, when you going to join? It doesn't matter. They never join. They can come sit on that pew every day if you open that church, because you're under the government. If it's a 501c3 nonprofit and you got to set up that way, there are some laws that they've already read before they come in. They're going to send their boy right into the girl's bathroom, and ain't nothing you can do about it. This is the reason why we can't be conformed to them. We can't be set up like they want us to be set up. We have to be set up like the Most High wants us to be set up. That's why I'm not big on following whatever pattern I learned when I was actually out there in the world concerning what was going on in churches and stuff like that, because it's different when it comes to Yah. Like I say, back then you didn't have that mix up going on. Those that were actually involved were really trying to get with Yah. They weren't trying to, exercise any type of rights or anything of that nature when it comes to whether it be straight, gay, or whatever. They weren't trying to push another agenda. And so basically, let's look at a few more ways that the Most High was saying not to follow concerning the heathen. And let's look at Leviticus chapter 18 first. Yeah, I think that's going to be, you got your book. Yeah, let's look at Leviticus 19, verse 19 and 4.
Leviticus chapter 19, verse 4 reads, "Turn ye not unto idols, nor make yourselves molten Elohim. I am Yahuwah Elohim."
Yeah, so basically, I don't want you to turn to idols. I don't want you to make any type of molten or graven images, because they're saying that once you do that, then what you're doing is you're actually trying to do the total opposite of what he wants you to do. That's the thing. A lot of people think that it's okay to just to do this stuff. Making this, like I've seen all kind of pictures of stuff, man. I don't even agree with having pictures of angels or anything like that. We don't know how no angels. He tell you don't make no image or pattern of anything in the Shamayim or heaven, translating that back to heaven that you have. Even back then, he was telling them, don't do that. A woman shouldn't wear anything pertaining to a man. It's in Leviticus. It's a lot of stuff it's saying don't do. And a lot of this stuff you would think you shouldn't have to tell nobody not to do it. But the children of Israel was just that. You know what I'm saying? Out of pure ignorance. When you coming out of the house of bondage, think about it. They were coming from out of Mizraim, out of the house of bondage. They seen all kind of activity, all type of ways, and they saw just about everything. I really don't know what kept them sane outside of the Most High having his hand upon them being around Egypt like that. Everything went then. They was not under anything but the law of Pharaoh and what he said, be loyal and obedient to him. They didn't have no type of order in them. They were probably seeing all kind of stuff. That's why he started telling them, don't learn the ways of the heathen. Don't do what you see the heathen do, because it was just wild. All kinds of stuff was going on. All this stuff he's saying don't do. I'm sure at some point they saw this. They saw something of that. I mean, you can't look and say, okay, in the house of bondage in Mizraim, in Egypt, that they was actually living some type of life that was set apart unto anything. When you're trying to say, okay, all I'm following is Pharaoh. Like saying, then Pharaoh, what does he have? Like that, what kind of standard is Pharaoh going to sell? But he never even acknowledged that there was nothing higher than him. you know, he wouldn't even acknowledge. It's like the plagues had to come so Pharaoh can have, you know, that can know that the Most High was real. So he could know that there was another power outside of these deities and stuff that they had. They was doing everything. Think about it. They had these magicians there. They say, you remember James and James it talks about, you know what I'm saying? They began to let their rod go down and it turned to a snake and Moshe put his down and ate there. So it's like, it was all kind of stuff. They was doing all, they would try to mimic the miracles and stuff like that. So you had all kind of mystical stuff going on back then. So they saw it already. This didn't just come out when the plagues come. They already was doing all kind of mystics and stuff in Mizraim and Egypt. They was doing this on a regular basis already. So when it come to the point of Moshe and the Most High telling them to let the people go, they just started expressing the power so we can record it in the book, so we can see what went down then. But they was doing that. And so you have the children of Israel seeing this on a regular basis, not every day, I'm sure, but they know that this is what's around them, especially Moshe. He grew up in the house. He rejected that lifestyle. He said, I'd rather be with my brothers and be out there with them rather than have all these amenities and everything that Egypt has to offer. So he grew up seeing it. He knew for a fact what he was trying to keep the people from, because he rejected. He said, I'm not going to enjoy myself. I'm gonna be uncomfortable so I can see them be comfortable. So he had to lead the people from up out of that. So as he was leading them up out of that, the Most High dealing with him, think about it, the Most High picked a man that was right under evil. He was right under evil. And so he picked him to lead the people out. So he had an understanding greater than what they did. So when he came down and they out there and his brother Aaron is fashioning this calf and they done brought all this gold in to melt it down, he's furious. He's like, we just come out of this crap. And here it is, y'all finna do this. It's bigger than just him going up there talking to the Most High. And then all of a sudden the people are down getting carried away because they were like, what are you looking? What are you looking for to actually to serve? We just brought you across the Red Sea as dry land, and here you are turning back again. This is the thing. This is the same thing. It's like the Most High bring us out a lot of stuff. We've been in all kinds of positions. We've been in near-death experience, all kinds of stuff. And when something small, which is going to be small based on what we've seen then, because certain things could have took our life, whether it be drugs or anything. And when something else come along, it's like, now we're not trusting the Most High. That's how I was. I remember back when I wasn't feeling well, that's why I had to look at it. I said, you brought me through all kinds of stuff. All I did was every day I woke up, looked out the window and said, okay, well, it's still going on. It's going to have to, eventually it will subside. It will stop at some point. That's the thing. And my prayer was that my family don't experience the type of sickness I did. That's what it was. And they'll tell you it wasn't, they didn't experience it like that. That was my prayer. That's it. I said, I think I'm going to be fine. I said, I want to make sure you keep them straight. That's it. Keep them straight. And then when this is over, then I'll know that, you know, for a fact that it only just had to take a minute to society to be a testimony, another testimony I can write down. Eventually, this will stop. That was what I had. I said, eventually, I know this will not be there. Every morning, some mornings I didn't wake up. I just was already up and I would look, see the sun rise. Okay, yeah, it's still going on. It's going to stop at some point. It's going to stop at some point. And, you know, it stopped. That's the thing, you know what I'm saying? But the thing is like, when you're looking at this stuff and comparing to what went on back then, it's like the Most High is saying, like, I brought you through greater things than this. That's the thing. It's like they couldn't wait a moment till Moshe came down from the mount, getting the commandments, and they didn't got carried away. Even Aaron getting carried away and didn't even get punished. That's the thing. A lot of times we try to follow people and we don't understand the grace of Yah that's on people. That's why it's important sometimes when we get around certain ones, what we do and how we carry ourselves, because they may get punished and you may not, based on the task that you have going on. Not that this gives you a reason to go sin or to do something that's not right in the eyes of Yah, but I'm saying everybody is not rolling in the same manner when it comes to when Yah is going to do what, because nothing happened to Aaron in two different occasions. Even when they got ready to start talking about the Ethiopian woman that Moshe married, you know, Miriam got the leprosy, nothing happened to Aaron again. I mean, he got, you know, reprimanded, you know, for saying it, you know, he got talked to, but he didn't get punished. He didn't get a physical punishment or nothing. That's the thing. So it's like, so we have to look at this stuff and say, okay, live for what the Most High gave us to live for and do what he called us to do. Don't look at another one doing something and thinking that it's okay to do it, and the Most High told you don't do it, and you see somebody that you may respect doing it, and you feel, I can do this too. You can't do it too. You don't really know when your time gonna come. You don't know when grace is gonna run out. You know what I'm saying? Grace can run out in the midst of you doing something that the Most High said don't do. We don't know how many chances we have. Just because you had a lot of chances, one chance will be the last chance. I'm saying at some point, this world will stop. I mean, that's the thing. And a lot of people are living like it's going to continue forever. We don't know when our time is going to run out. We don't know when it's going to all be over. And when it's all over, it's over. You can't go backwards and redo it. That's why you have to live every day like it's your last day. You don't know when the time's going to come when he part the clouds, it's over at that point. You know, it's like freeze tag. You know, when in the game of freeze, when say freeze, you can't move no more. It's over. Everything he that's filthy, let him be filthy still when that time comes. That's it. You know, you can't begin to try to go redo it and say, give me another chance. There's no other opportunity. That's why the apostles say I die daily. Every day, you know, we pick up our stake and follow Yahushua Mashiach. That's why we don't need to get caught up into any type of mind frame of some cult type activity, anything somebody's trying to force on us or something. We need to make sure we're under the banner of Yahushua Mashiach and not trying to do nothing different. There's nothing else different to do. Read, like I tell everybody, read from if you have to just get something to translate, if you can't understand it, go from Genesis to Revelation, get a clear understanding of who we are. Get a clear understanding of who we are. And once you get that understanding, find out, okay, now what am I supposed to be doing now in this day and time? It's like we don't do away with the law. We fulfill it with Yahushua Mashiach. And he make provisions for us through certain things that he had. Like if a man's ox fall in the hole and that day it's a Shabbat, he's not going to get that ox out the hole. How do you translate that? You just say, don't honor the Shabbat, but I'm just saying, get your ox out the hole. But you have others saying, don't get the ox out the hole because now you're breaking a commandment. Like this is the mind frame. Like we have to open up our mind to realize what's going on. We can't be stuck minded. We can't be in a position where we're saying, okay, everything it doesn't matter anymore. And now do what you want to do either. Like everything matters. The dietary law matters. You know what I'm saying? It all matters. But we, like I say, a lot of times, a lot of people died in Jesus that's going to make it into heaven. That's the thing. And that offends a lot of people, but it's just the truth. You know what I'm saying? It's pure ignorance to think anything different. That's the thing. That's why the scripture talk about too much is given, much is required. Once I learned the knowledge, I learned that I'm held accountable to move forward in that knowledge. I can't go using that to go backwards. The thing, I'm not backwards, I'm moving forward. So moving forward, now I have this information and now the Most High is held me accountable to apply it for my lifestyle, and to tell others that. But those that want to do whatever they're doing, those are not the ones you're supposed to be focused on. Focus on who's doing what the Most High wants you to do. That's the thing. Anybody that want to do something different, that still want to go to church or whatever, that's them. That's what they decided to do. And, hey, it's the he that want to be ignorant. The scripture said, let him be ignorant still. That's the thing. Don't force it on nobody. This is the thing. And it's like you can't give the increase. Paul said, I water, Apollo's planet, but it's Yahuwah which give the increase. So y'all will give the increase to the person. That's anything. Like say, just drop the word or share the information, keep it moving. When it seems like there's friction or someone wants to still be caught up into learning the way of the heathen, telling you that it's okay to do it anyway, no, it's not okay. But if that's what you decide to do, then it doesn't offend me. I just hope that maybe one day you'll stop doing it. That's it. That's how it boils down. You can't get caught up into anything. We don't have time to argue with nobody about which way the word's supposed to be going to anything. We only have time now to save ourselves from this wicked generation. That's the thing. We have to make sure that we're saved, make sure that we're set up where our family's saved, because it's getting to a point now where a lot of distractions are coming, keeping people's mind off the big picture. Most of the time, the whole conversation, when you turn the TV on and turn the world, it's all about this virus that's going on. It's all about everything that's happening in the world and what they're doing. No one is really concerned about living right. Nobody's concerned about not doing things that the heathen are doing. It's all about what the heathen is saying. That's what it's about. So we have to be careful and make sure that we're not following the ways of the heathen. And like I was saying, some ways of the heathen is like, on the men and women level, it's the dress code, dressing any kind of way on both ends, dressing any kind of way, because now they look, they look bad now. Some of the guys, I don't even understand what they got going on. You know what I mean? Some of them now, they dress pretty much, just you can't tell the difference. Some of them. They dress like that. The pants are the same. Both of them are tight. Now, so I can't say women with tight pants because men got the tight pants on now. Some of them are tight skirt. That's it. So it's like, it's bad, So now those are the ways of the heathen. I mean, these ways that, like I say, trying to go get your palm read, trying to look at your daily horoscope, trying to keep up with things that, the Most High is telling you not to keep up with, trying to follow signs and stuff like that in the air and all that kind of stuff, horoscoping and meditating in ways that the Most High have not instructed you to meditate in, concerned about opening up a third eye and chakra and all this kind of stuff. I mean, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, you got to make sure that you're not caught up into any of that stuff. Like, we know about the pineal gland and stuff like that, but I'm not supposed to worship a pineal gland, a third eye. That's the thing. So it's like, you know, we just have to make sure that we're not letting anything be forced on us that the Most High don't want to be forced on us. And when you say learn not, sometimes knowledge is dangerous. You go in there trying to figure out this stuff. You shouldn't be sitting there trying to learn no magic spells or anything. Once you learn this stuff, and now this stuff has got inside your ruach, and he told you don't learn it. So it's like, you just have to be careful with what we're doing. And that's the end of the service today. I'm going to end it with prayer. Father Yah, we just thank you right now for the word that went forth. I thank you right now that we're not going to learn the way of the heathen, Father Yah. We're not going to make excuses to follow the heathen, Father Yah. We're going to follow your ways, Father Yah, and follow what you said and do the will of you for our life. And we just thank you right now. In the name of your son, Yahushua, we pray. So be it.